I'm not the Dragon Warrior. Oh. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this is my theological analysis for Kung Fu Panda. This has got to be one of my favorite animated movies of all time, and is definitely one of my favorite Jack Black movies, which is why I'm doing this, because we got a house with a clock in its walls. I'm 4% sure I'm saying the title of that movie right, out this week, so we got a brand new Jack Black movie out, so I thought I'd go back to one of my favorite Jack Black movies and dig deep into that. So, Kung Fu Panda.
Stairs.
Who are you?
Buddy, I am the Dragon Warrior.
When you look at the heart of Kung Fu Panda, here's what it's about. It's about belief, in other words, faith, and destiny, and providence. But it's also about having those false expectations that could lead us astray and really devastate us, and it could really let us down, because that's what's going on here. You see, I feel like the message of this movie is belief comes first and the skill comes second. Belief comes first, and then there's the path of destiny. As the duck father of Po says,
To make something special, you just have to believe it's special.
but a lot of people in this movie just don't have that revelation. And there's a proverb that says, where there is no revelation, the people cast off restraint. So when you take a look at Master Shifu, so he looks at the idea of the Dragon Warrior, and does he see it through the eyes of faith? No. He's walking by sight, not by faith, and what he sees by sight is a Kung Fu master! And when he meets little baby cub Tai Lung, and he adopts this cub and kind of becomes a father to this cub becomes a son to him, and he loves this cub. But the sad thing is, he loves his cub too little and not too much, because he gets blinded by his own pride. Because he's able to see that this cub has natural talent, but he had no revelation of the Dragon Warrior. He had no revelation of what the Dragon Warrior is and what it even means to be the Dragon Warrior. So where there is no revelation, he went ahead and casted off restraint. And as he trained Tai Lung, he taught Tai Lung, you are the Dragon Warrior.
Who filled my head with dreams? Who drove me to train until my bones cracked? Who denied me my destiny?
Oogway had the revelation. Oogway knew the heart of the Dragon Warrior and knew it was about belief and faith first. Tai Lung didn't have it. Shifu didn't have it. In fact, Shifu was trying to control. He was so proud of his little cub that he tried to control his son's destiny so he can make it great. And so Oogway was able to see this and knew Tai Lung is not the Dragon Warrior. Now, because Tai Lung had this expectation that he was the Dragon Warrior, he went ballistic, he destroys this village and goes nuts because he casted off restraint, because he had no actual revelation of what that meant to be the Dragon Warrior. And now, along comes Po, falling out of the sky in the right place at just the right time, by accident, right? Except it's not. It's destiny. It's providence. But because Shifu was walking by sight and not walking by faith, he had his own idea of what providence looked like, and because he wasn't looking at what providence actually was, he missed it. Shifu has a problem with control. Oogway confronts him on this and says, you need to let go of the illusion of control. And then Shifu tries to prove, and unsuccessfully prove, I've got control.
I can control when the fruit will fall.
And Oogway is just calmly and at peace saying, you don't have inner peace because you haven't let go of the illusion of control. So once again, you have Master Shifu training the five, talented, amazing warriors, legends all about them, but he's trying to control. So in his belief system now, Tigress, who's so talented, she's the Dragon Warrior. At the very least, one of the five is the Dragon Warrior. So when this hippopotamus bear falls out of the sky, bouncing on the ground, and Oogway's pointing at him, his expectations are let down. What's he gonna do with this thing? And then you got Po, and he has the wrong set of expectations about being a Kung Fu master. Because I love the opening, but if you notice in the opening, there's really not much that fantasy Po has in common with the real Po.
He was so deadly, in fact, that his enemies would go blind from overexposure to pure awesomeness. He's too awesome!
And attractive.
It's because the real Po doesn't like his little flabby arms or his little pooch belly. You know, he doesn't quite like him as himself. And he looks at what he calls his weaknesses, and that's what he thinks. They're his weaknesses. What he wants when he gets chosen to be the dragon warrior, his expectation is that he will change. He doesn't want a destiny of making noodles and serving noodles. And he's scared of that future. And Oogway calls him on that. You know, you're holding on to the past, you're fearing the future. Come on. Now is a gift. And that's why it's called the present. And so Oogway's trying to teach him, let go of the fear of both these things and live in this moment now. But he still has this, he doesn't have the revelation. He still thinks being a Kung Fu master is about changing who he is. And he doesn't see his weaknesses, as he calls them, as the strengths that they really are.
Stop it. Oh, I'm gonna pee.
And so because of this, he's willing to stay and train because as much as it hurts, it doesn't hurt as much as him being what he was. But when the real pressure's down and Tai Lung is on the way, he's ready to run for the freaking hills, and he's ready to run for the freaking hills because he doesn't truly believe he's the dragon warrior because he doesn't have the revelation. So he cast off restraint, man, and he runs for his enemy, the stairs. I guess they're not his enemy when you're going down. So much easier to go down than up. There's a message in that right there. And so Po is trying to escape his destiny until Shifu begins to show faith in him. And here's something that's interesting. Faith for Shifu at first was an act of will. Believing that Po was the dragon warrior was an act of sheer will. It probably didn't even feel like belief in his heart. But when he made a decision to believe that Po was the dragon warrior, a way to train him opened up. You see, he had it in reverse. He was looking for a way, but he didn't realize when he has to stop and have faith and believe, there was the way. And then he began to walk in the way. He began to walk out his faith. And so in training Po with food, he reached Po on his level and Po became the dragon warrior. But when they opened the scroll, they had their next bout of disappointment. I mean, come on, look at the whole expectation in this scene.
But legend says you will be able to hear a butterfly's wing beat.
Whoa, really?
You will feel the universe in motion around you.
Wow! Can I punch through walls? Can I do a quadruple backflip?
Focus.
I mean, they're expecting him to turn into freaking Super Bear. There's no realistic expectation for this. As soon as he opens the scroll, they're all let down. Shifu releases them all, decides he's gonna die in a fight with Tai Lung to save the village, and that's just gonna be that. Because they had these wrong expectations of what the Dragon Warrior is. And it was the simple truth of Po's little duck father.
To make something special, you just have to believe it's special.
There is no secret ingredient. It's special because you believe it's special. And that's when Po got the revelation. And as soon as he got the revelation, he was able to face Tai Lung and defeat him. And Tai Lung was unable to defeat this crazy panda because he had the wrong expectations of the dragon. I mean, come on. Po looks up and he sees the scroll on the roof of that building and he pictures a cookie. So he takes off running. And then you have Tai Lung, he's like, oh no! It's giving him powers! No! See, the whole wrong expectations until finally he opens the scroll and he's let down by the fact that it's nothing. It's nothing because it really is something. It's about belief. It's about walking in faith. When Jesus walked this earth, they killed him and crucified him because when they were looking for a Messiah, they were looking for a conquering king. When Jesus came, I mean, he fulfilled things to the letter, being born of a virgin, riding into Jerusalem on a donkey's back at just the right time as prophesied in the Old Testament. But the expectations were wrong because there was no revelation. And I'm 100% guilty of that. Sometimes I grab promises out of the Bible completely out of context. I throw them into my own little box and demand that they be exactly what I want them to be, and I wonder, where is the peace in my life? How come I have no peace? How come this isn't working? But I realize when I stop trying to conform it to what I want it to be and let God's promises be God's promises and let God be God and just trust Him, it's amazing then the peace that comes into my life. So when you watch Kung Fu Panda, what message do you see in this movie? What is your favorite Jack Black movie? Let's talk about that in the comments. And while you're there, hit the subscribe button to become a Durbanian. Hit the bell by the subscribe button so you're notified for my next theological analysis, movie review, ranking video, or anything else I do here. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.